Okay, so today I am just going to quickly go through how to do some referencing. Just want to quickly show those of you who don't know how to do footnote referencing and how to do that on Word. I'm not familiar with how to do that on a Pages, but I think you do have that option as well. Google Docs versus just regular Word document might vary a little bit, but they both have that footnote function. I will then show you how to do in-text referencing as well, if that's something that you would choose to do. More academic work does have in-text referencing. It won't count towards your word count, so it might be a little bit difficult to figure out your word count with your in-text referencing, but I'm going to show you anyway. And then I'm going to give you a little brief demonstration on how to do some proper referencing for a reference list instead of just a bibliography, which is very middle school, and we want to get you moving into that senior school practice of having a reference list. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is just to take you to our assessment sheet. And I'm going to click on one of the websites that we've got down below. I really cannot stress enough how much I want you to go through as many of these as possible. Some of them have some really, really good videos that you can watch if you don't like reading. So please just make sure that you do have a look through all of these dot points. So I'm just going to click on this website down the bottom. It's how is the brain affected? I've already got it open, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on it. This website is actually really great because it gives you a range of different ways that the brain is impacted, and you can get lots of different information. So you are actually asked in your investigation to talk about how the brain is sort of affected and what sorts of things, symptoms I guess you can get from FASD. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to click on cognition, just a random one. So some information that I found is that people who have fetal alcohol spectrum disorder have difficulty understanding concepts, difficulty learning new skills or facts, and difficulty remembering what has previously been learned. So I might even just copy and paste that. And I'm going to go straight to my investigation. In my investigation that I've done up, I've got my heading. So stage 1 child studies, it's assessment type 3, it's an investigation, and I've got my name. If you would like to also include your SACE ID, I would also recommend that. I've then got the investigation question as my heading. Okay, other acceptable headings could just be fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, but I've chosen this to be my heading. I've then got another heading, health and learning implications, causes, prevention, and my conclusion. Now this investigation example is over the word count. I just want to highlight that it is 688. The word count is 600. You do have a 10% leeway, so 660 is the absolute max you can go over. I just wanted to highlight that. So keeping in mind that it is already over the word count, I'm just going to add in a little bit of information. So if we're looking at the impacts of the brain, it's probably going to come under this heading, health and learning implications. So where we talk about the brain, let's just whack it in here. So I've got my 3 dot points. So we would say people living with FASD have difficulty understanding concepts, learning new skills or facts, and remembering what was previously learned. Alright, that might be something that I choose to put in my investigation because I feel like it's relevant. But I've gotten that information from somewhere and I now need to reference it. So to do footnote referencing, which we'll look at first, if you are working with Word, you would go to References, just up the top here, and you just need to click on Insert Footnote. Alright, now I have already been inserting footnotes throughout my text. So as you'll notice, it actually comes up with a little 4 because Word will automatically put in the numbers for you. It's not going to jumble them around. As soon as you put in a new piece of information with a new reference, it'll automatically do the number for you. So I'm not sure if you've noticed, but just down the bottom, it automatically puts the number 4 here. So this is where I want you to put your reference. Now, I don't want you to bombard it with all of the information. I just want you to put in key things. So things like that might be authors or websites. For this particular piece of information, there's no real author that I can see on the page, but I can see a website. So I'm going to choose to write FASD Hub Australia. Alright, and the date that I can find on the website is either up the top or it'll be down the bottom somewhere. And I can see 2019, so I'm going to put 2019 for the date. Alright, that's all I need for the footnote. So when I'm reading your work, I might read that there's this piece of information that you found. I'll see number 4, I'll go down to number 4, and it'll tell me where you've got it from. The next step that I would normally go is then I would go down to your reference list, I would find the reference, I might potentially click on it and see how you go. The other way that you could reference this, if you wanted to do in text, instead of doing the little 4, you would then, before the dot point, but after the fact, have a little bracket. Then you would then write FASD Hub Australia, comma, and the date or the year, 2019, and then another bracket, and then a full stop. Alright, if you choose to do in text, you will not have this stuff down here. You'll only have the little bits in the brackets that you have to not use in your word count. So that's just a really brief introduction on how to do footnotes versus in text. If you're working with a Google Doc, sometimes instead of the references tab, it'll actually be in the insert, and you might just go insert footnote, and it will do the same thing for you. But like I said before, I'm not sure about pages. So if we want to quickly look at your reference list now, make sure that you have the heading reference list, not the heading bibliography, because we are in senior school now and we don't use bibliographies anymore, we use reference lists. So that's the next step that you would want to do, is you would then want to figure out how to accurately do this. Now, I've given you a roadmap to referencing as well on your day map, but I also want to point out that you can Google UniSA Referencing Guide and then click on the roadmap to referencing. This is a really great tool that anybody can access at any time, and it does Harvard referencing. There are a couple of different types of referencing, but Harvard and Oxford are the most common. So then it gives you a bunch of different options. So if you've chosen to reference a YouTube video or a podcast or a video of any sort from a website, you might want to click on sound and visual, and that'll tell you how to reference. If you've used a textbook or anything that's actually printed, like an article or a newspaper, you might click on print. Alright, we have been on an electronic website, so I'm going to go ahead and click on electronic. Okay, so there's a couple of different options here. If you've used Bureau of Statistics, it tells you how to reference that. If you've used an email or a journal article, an online document, an online news article, social networking, there are so many different options. Try and pick the one that is best suited to you. Even if you're unsure, you can actually click on it and it will give you a little bit of a description. So I might just say a web page, because that's what I can think. So if we look at description, a single page that is part of a website. Okay, so one page usually has a separate title and is taken from a larger website, which I think is exactly what I have gotten my information from. So it gives me some insight into how to do an in-text citation, if you're unsure how to do that, but it generally is the author name or just the year. Okay, so now that I've seen this and it's said that or authoring body year, then I'm going to go back to my reference and I'm going to eliminate FASD Hub Australia, okay, because we don't need that. Looking at the reference list now, so not a bibliography, I want a reference list. This is the sort of format that you should be looking at, and it gives you a little example down here. So the first thing you want to look for is an author or a family name or initials. Now you will get that if it is written by someone, if it has an author, but I can't identify an author on this website. So then I'm going to start with authoring body year, which we already know is 2019. So I'm going to scroll down, all right, and I'm going to do 2019. All right, title of the web page. The title of the web page is Brain Impairment in FASD. Make sure I've got capitals. Okay, the next thing I want to draw your attention to is pay attention to the little commas and where they are, but also pay attention to where you need to do italics. So the title of the web page actually has a comma afterwards, and then you need to italics it. All right. Then you have the title of the website. So the website is then FASD Hub Australia. That is the website name. Okay, and then you have comma, publisher where known. Sometimes it will have it, but more often than not, it won't have that information, so don't panic if it doesn't. Then you'll put in the viewed date. So the date that you viewed this website and got this piece of information. So today I'm going to say viewed 28 April 2020. Then there's a comma. Then these little triangle mobobs. I'm going to copy and then I'm going to paste. And there's a full stop at the end. Okay, so that is how you would do a proper reference for a proper reference list. If I go ahead and click on maybe something a little bit different, what's this one? Let's see what this one comes up with. Alright, so this would be another website that you would reference because there's no real author, it's just a website. If you found an article, make sure that you select article when you choose to reference, but there are lots of different options as well. Okay, let's maybe take a look at if you were to reference a website, a video. So let's go to, could be a film recording. It could be a streamed video. Let's try that one. So in-text citation tells you how to do that, and it has a reference list. So it would have a name, an initial, or a director. Alright, then the year of production or the year of uploading, whatever you can find. The title of the video, again, in italics. Right, then the platform, so whether it's YouTube or whether it's the actual website that you've gotten the video from, the platform can be the website. Uploading date, don't worry about that one, when you viewed it, and the URL. Okay, and there's a little example down the bottom. Alright, so that is my expectation for your referencing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post a PDF of this investigation exemplar. I do not want people to copy and paste it, alright? This is probably an A example. Keep in mind that it is over the word count by a significant amount, alright? But in terms of the facts that have been used, the referencing that has been done, the critical analysis, it's probably a B or an A bracket, alright? I also want to mention that this investigation hasn't used any of the survey data that we've collected, so it doesn't really demonstrate that. But when you do put in your survey data, please make sure that you include an image, alright? It's all well and good to put in the statistics. In fact, I would love for you to put in the specific statistics, but it helps the information be a lot more clearer if you actually include an image. Once you do include the image of your, say, pie graph or whatever it is, you can actually right click on it and you can insert a caption. Okay, and it'll come up with figure 1 or figure 2. It's a little bit difficult to change here, but if you press OK, generally you can type whatever you want. Okay, so that is something that I would recommend that you do when you do put in your survey data. Other than that, that is how I want you to set out your investigation and how I would like you to reference it. It is very similar to the template. I've just gone ahead and I put in extra headings